Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, this is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and it is finally time for my favorite video of the month. I'm so sorry it's so late. I know it's a week late. I just have not had time to get to it till now, so we're doing it now. This is going to be my month in review for the month of November 2025. I'm going to talk about all the diamond paintings I worked on, and well, I don't think I had a finish this time. No finishes, all whips. That's okay. Then I'll talk about what I purchased, diamond painting wise, in November. Black Friday, Christmas drop, yeah. Then at the end, I will talk about what I read for the month of November. So if you're only here for the diamond painting stuff, don't worry, it'll all be at the beginning. And then if you want to stick around for the reading update, you can stay for that after the diamond painting stuff is all done with. So starting off, I'm going to start off with the whip that I have been carrying with me all year, and that is the Months of the Year Mini Dazzles set. I've been doing one per month, whatever one corresponds with the month we're in. So this month I got November done. And it was really cute. I really liked the vibe of this one. It felt very fall into winter, which is exactly how November typically feels. So I really liked that it had the right ambiance. There is only one more left, and then this will be counted as a finish come December, so I'm excited about that. Moving on, we have my next whip that I have been carrying with me since 2024, actually. This is Cabin, and it's by the Macneil Studio. This one is 101 by 70 centimeters, and it is my long-term work in progress that I am only working on during the winter season each year. So I started last year. I started it on November 16th, 2024, and then I worked on it until January-ish. I think end of December, actually. And then I rolled it up and I put it aside until this year, and then this year I brought it back at the beginning of November when I finished my Drills and Chills kit and started working on it again. And this is a very, very large landscape. And landscapes aren't my usual content choice for my kits. It has to be a special landscape to end up in my stash and for me to work on it, just because they usually don't strike my fancy. But this one, for some reason, I just absolutely love it. I love the ambiance. I love the depiction of these gorgeous deer. It looks like early morning to me, and there's a couple Christmas trees and just a cozy little cabin, and it's just very pretty, and I'm excited to be working on it again after going the year without working on it at all. And I got a few more sections done during November, so you can see here where I left off last year and where I got to in November this year. So yeah, really happy to be working on this one again. I have it in my little whip wheel spinny app that I use to decide which section I'm going to work on next, but I do have it weighted lower. So my other kit that I'm working on, it's at like a 75% hit rate, and this one's at like a 25% hit rate. So I haven't gotten too much done on it because I am putting the priority on the kit that I want to be sure I finish for this year. And we'll go ahead and talk about that one now. That one is Clara's Christmas by Miss Holly, and I am working on this one unofficially for Jingle Drills. I started before Jingle Drills started, and I'm not entering for any prizes or anything, but I love working alongside everybody else, so I'm having a really good time with it. I have been dying to work on this one since last year when it came out. It was almost the kit I decided to work on last year, but I decided on Cozy Christmas Witch instead last year, and I'm really glad I worked on that one because it was a blast too. But this one, I just love the colors and the fact that it's a Nutcracker themed kit. It doesn't seem super Christmassy just because the colors aren't, red and green, but I kind of like that about it. So I'm really enjoying working on it, and I got just about halfway through it in the month of November. I started it November 10th, and it's 70 by 70, so it's big, but it's not overwhelming, if that makes sense. So I'm really enjoying working on this one. It's got a great mix of color blocking and confetti. That outside border goes really fast, and then when I get to the inside parts, it's like, okay, we're going to take our time with these sections because they're a lot more confetti heavy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that mix because, you know, you don't have too much of one thing or the other, and I'm going in strips and it's just working great. So really having fun. I am going to save her face section for last, which is why I skipped that one. And I am really excited to finish that one up in December. So that's it for my whips for the month of November, moving into December. Now let's talk about my purchases. I purchased 14 kits in November. I tried to narrow it down on Black Friday, but I could only get myself down to 10. This was a good drop for me. There were a lot of kits in this drop that I had earmarked to take home with me, and they just all showed up at once. And there were even more I wanted that I didn't get. So maybe someday when they restock, I'll grab them. But I also purchased 4 kits during the Christmas drop earlier in the month. So let's talk about those first because that happened earlier. 3 of them were actually Christmas kits, and 1 was a Mini Dazzle set. The Mini Dazzle set I bought was the Mickey and Friends one because my Disney loving heart was so happy that that was a thing. So I have the Disney Mickey and Friends set now. I love them so much. I'm excited to work on them during my year of Disney next year. Hopefully, if they get spun. Who knows if they will or not. I'm putting all of my Disney kits on a giant wheel, and I'm working on one at all times next year, however long it takes me to get that one done, and then I will spin and work on whichever one it rolls for me to work on next, and we'll be doing that all year. So maybe it'll show up for me and maybe it won't, but at least it'll be on the wheel now. So the 3 Christmas kits I got are Christmas Candy Shop by Mrs. Butter D. Of course. You guys know I love Mrs. Butter D. She's my favorite artist at DAC, and I could not get over how colorful and bright and festive this kit was. So that went on my list and came home to me. I also got Christmas Room by Marigo Nosuli. I cannot get over her room scenes. I think they are fantastic and amazing, and after my experience last year working on Cozy Christmas Witch, I don't have a single negative thing to say about her artwork and her kits, so I had to get this one. It is so gorgeous. I just love the color palette and all of the fun things to do in every single section of that kit. So I picked up that one, and then last but not least, it kind of goes with my work in progress this year. It's another Nutcracker kit by Miss Holly. It's Clara and the Nutcracker, and my friend Katie over at Diamonds and Washi is working on this one right now, almost done with it. It is so gorgeous. You guys, I'm so glad that I picked it up because I love it so much. The lighting in this artwork is something else. I'm just so impressed. Anyway, so those were my 3 Christmassy kits that I got for the Christmas drop. Now let's have a moment to talk about Black Friday. I originally started off with 8 on my must-have list, and I was trying hard to narrow that down a little bit. Instead, I ended up buying 10. But, you know, it's okay. I had a gift card to use and my employee discount, and it's fine. We're fine. I'm very excited. These are coming home to me. A lot of them are pre-orders, so I don't have them in yet. But one of them, actually, that I purchased for the Black Friday drop was an artwork that dropped a week earlier by Ivy Dollamore called Crow's Corner. I didn't pick it up a week earlier because I wanted to wait and see what was coming out for Black Friday. And another Ivy Dollamore did drop in the Black Friday drop, and I wanted that one too. That was Citrine. But I decided I wanted Crow's Corner more than that one, so I opted for that Ivy over the other Ivy. And hopefully I can pick up Citrine on a restock. But yes, so glad to have Crow's Corner with all the trash pandas. So that was the only one of the 10 that wasn't from the Black Friday drop, but I did purchase it during the Black Friday drop. So, okay, now let's go through the other ones that were part of the drop. First up, we have another Maragona Suli. This was probably my favorite kit from the drop, I think. It's hard to say, but this is Rainy Summer Day. Again, just the atmosphere in this kit is so gorgeous. I love the rain on the windows, and I put some ABs in there. I think it's gonna look really amazing when it's done. I haven't seen anyone working on this one yet because I don't know if anyone's actually gotten it yet, but I am so excited to see people work on this one because I think it's gonna be so gorgeous when it's done. And I love the color palette, all those like pinks and greens. It's beautiful. And then I got the Little Ristorante by Six Leaf Clover because this kit reminds me of my husband. My husband loves Italian food. That's his favorite food. He would eat it. He'd eat spaghetti every day if he had the choice, I think. I don't think he'd get sick of it. And even for Christmas this year, he has decided that we are doing an Italian Christmas, and he's going to make lasagna and chicken parmigiana and fettuccine alfredo and all this stuff. So yeah, we're going to have an Italian Christmas, and I want to do this kit for him and maybe hang it in our dining room because it reminds me so much of him, and he loves dragons too. So I think it's going to be fun. He actually has a dragon kit that he has been working on for like 3 years, and he's gotten a few rows done on it. He doesn't diamond paint that much, but when he does, it's that kit, and he's determined to finish it someday, he says. We'll see if that happens. That one that he's working on is the Dragon's Door. Really pretty kit. But yeah, so this kit reminded me a lot of him, and so I grabbed it, and I'm gonna do that with him in mind and hopefully get it framed and hung up in our dining room. And then the next one is Dragon Room by Geneva Bowers. I went a little crazy with this one when I was deciding where to put the special drills. It had so many colors, and my eyes were like shining and sparkling at the pretty artwork, and I was like, let's just throw all the fairy dust in that we can find, and some ABs, and yeah, maybe some iridescence too. Let's go crazy. So I went crazy, and this one has like 26 special drills, and I love that it has a man in it because we don't get that many kits that have men featured in the artwork, just the artwork that tends to make it through voting. I was excited that this one had one, and I love that he's an artist and he's got a little dragon friend, and I am so excited to have this one in my collection and do it someday. I think it's going to be a blast to work on with all those fun colors. Then I got Good Game by Art by Julia. I could not pass this one up. I love Art by Julia. There's a few kits of hers that I don't have. I think only 7 have been released so far, and I have maybe 4 of them. This one was just so adorable with this girl in her bed and all of her fun things around her that she loves, and I love a lot of those things too, so yeah, that one ended up in my cart. And then I'll talk about the next 3 together because they're kind of a set. This is the set of Disney landscapes that are in a fun kind of artistic style that you don't normally see for landscapes, and I think will just be amazing to work on as diamond paintings because I don't do a lot of landscapes, and when I do, they're usually very confetti heavy and they take me a long time. So I'm excited about these both because they're only 22 by 22, pretty small for landscapes, and they're very color blocky just because of the artwork style, and they're Disney. So like, I love all of those things. So I am very excited to add those to my Disney wheel for next year, and I'm really hoping that one of them comes up at least. The next one is Spirits by Miss Holly, and oh man, weirdly, the background is what got me on this one. Something about halftone backgrounds with like little patterns in them, just like this, makes me so happy. I don't know what it is, but I love it so much. It looks very, very like 80s and retro, but also kind of modern, and something about that is right up my alley. I just love it. So this one is fantastic. I loved our main character. I loved the cute little ghosties. They're so adorable. The one that's sticking out his tongue. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this one had to make it to my list. And then the last one was actually kind of a late addition, kind of a surprise. This one is called Cat Art. It's by Marilyn Kazanave. I have no idea how to say her last name. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I don't get a lot of her kits, but some of them just speak to me, and this one definitely did because I'm an artist. I have a lot of art supplies in my office, and my cat Sebastian looks very similar to the cat in this artwork, and he loves to get all up in my business in my office and mess with my art supplies. So this one just reminded me of him, and I decided I had to get it. So I bought this one. So yeah, that's all my purchases for November. I hope you enjoyed looking through those with me. And I think that's all I have to talk about for the diamond painting side of this video. So if you were only here for that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. And if you're here for the reading updates, stick around. Okay, hello fellow readers. Thank you for sticking around and wanting to hear me nerd out about all the books that I read. This month I read 5 books. The first one was Do Not Disturb by Frida McFadden, and I read that for Michaela's and Natalie's book club that they did for November, and it was a fun read. It was a thriller, and it is about a woman who murders her abusive husband. This is not a spoiler because it happens right in the beginning of the book, and it's in self-defense, and then she feels like she has to go on the run and try not to get caught for the murder. Meanwhile, her older sister's trying to find her and desperate to find out what happened because she's not sure if someone else murdered the husband and then took her sister or what's going on with that. And the main character ends up at a very rundown hotel with some very suspicious characters, and yeah, it kind of keeps you guessing, or it tries to. I did end up kind of guessing pretty much all of the twists in this book. I felt that it was a little bit lazy. I feel bad for saying that. I feel like the writer wrote some things in for her own convenience that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I didn't like the character relationships and motivations. I felt like they didn't earn their motivations in this book. So I gave it 3 stars because it was still enjoyable to read. I just felt like it wasn't the best quality thriller that I've ever read. So right down the middle at a 3. But I was really happy to be able to join in on the book club, which I'm going to do again this month in December. So looking forward to that. The second book I read was Part of Your World. It was my first time reading an Abby Jimenez book, and I loved it. This one got 5 stars from me. I read quite a bit of romance, maybe not as much as some other people do. It's not like my main genre. My main genre is probably fantasy or sci-fi fantasy, but I have read several romances, and this one is top tier. I really loved the character development. I really loved the character relationships. There wasn't like a tropey miscommunication that caused the third act breakup or anything like that. So really, really enjoyed this book, and I hope to read more in her series or just more by Abby Jimenez sometime soon because I loved it. This one is about a woman who finds herself driving near a small town when she kind of runs off the road a little bit, trying to avoid hitting a wild animal, and needs to be towed out, and a handsome gentleman comes and tows her out, and he lives there in that small town, and she's a bigwig doctor from a very important family in a big town, and it's about their unlikely relationship and how the two of them try to navigate a situation where they're both falling for each other, but their lifestyles could never work together. So really interesting concept. Really enjoyed this book. Highly recommend. After that, I decided to continue reading romance because I was just in the mood for that genre, and this one popped up in my Libby. It's The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore, and it was perfect vibes for fall time. It's just a fun little romance and not really anything deep or new or different. I gave it 4 stars because it was pretty much just what I was expecting, nothing more, nothing less. It did have the typical romance trope of the miscommunication thing, and the two people can't seem to talk to each other to find out what's wrong rather than assume. So that's why I dropped it down a star, because that's frustrating. So this one is about a woman who inherits her aunt's cafe, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, because her aunt hasn't died. She just wants to do something else and is off living her best life somewhere else. And the woman is tired of living in the big city and working her life away, basically. So she wants some small town living, and she takes over this cafe in a small town, and meets a local gentleman who works as a farmer and provides some of the items she uses in her cafe, and it's just a cute little romance. So I would recommend this one. I didn't think it was as good as Part of Your World. Nothing really out of the ordinary, just your average everyday romance, I guess, but it was cute. After that, I read Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. This is a set of short stories that she wrote, kind of giving more background into the characters involved in her lunar chronicles. And I just finished reading those last month, with winter being the fourth and final one. And so I was really excited to read these little short stories about all of the characters kind of before they met, and it was really fun. I didn't have a great time with the audiobook for this one, mostly because the narrator had a cold or some kind of congestion when she recorded this audiobook, and it was very distracting to me. So I gave it 4 stars, partially because of that, and partially because for some reason I was having trouble wanting to pick this up and continue reading, even though I was really enjoying the stories. Something about it just wasn't grabbing my attention as much as the previous 4 books had. So I knocked it down a star because of the experience I had with it. My star ratings just tend to be mostly about vibes, so that's where that came from. I wouldn't necessarily recommend reading this one unless you've read the Lunar Chronicles, because it does kind of give quite a bit of spoilers for all of those, so definitely made to be read after you've read the main series. And the last book that I read during November is Raven Song by T.J. Klune. It is the second book in his Green Creek series, and this is another one where I just had a lot of trouble wanting to pick it back up and continue reading. And I don't know if it's the book or if it's me. I haven't been reading as much this month as I have in past months, so it could be me, but I felt like it was a little bit repetitive versus the first one. A lot of the same kinds of things happened in the second book, just with different characters. I mean, the same characters are there, but you're in a different character's head, and you're seeing his past history and stuff like that. So that part was fun, but a lot of the current tensions going on kind of were similar to what happened in book 1. So I just felt like it was a little bit of a rehash of what we had read in book 1. So maybe I just read these 2 close together. I'm going to put off reading book 3 and book 4 for a while and just see how I feel. I gave this one 3 stars just because of all of those things that I just mentioned. So I still enjoy this series, and 3 stars isn't a bad rating, it's an average rating, but the first book got 4 stars for me and this one got 3. So I don't know how I would feel if I were to pick up the 3rd book now, so I'm going to wait and just let it rest and come back to it later and see how I feel then. As for books that I am currently reading, I am reading When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is I think it's a romantasy technically, but I've heard this one is more on the fantasy side than the romance side, so I am excited to see what it's all about. My son Casey read it a while ago and loved it, so I'm hoping I will too. Starting off, there's a little bit of a in my mind because she's an assassin and she's full of badassery and bitterness, and I feel like that's a trope that happens in romantasy of like assassin main female characters, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of tired of assassins, but I'm only like 10% in, so we'll see where it goes from here. I am loving the writing style and the world. It's very vivid, so I'm excited to see what happens next in the story. So that's When the Moon Hatched, and then I am also reading Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, and that one is very entertaining so far. I'm only, a quarter of the way through it so far, but it is already a grand time, just like all the other ones have been. I'm kind of slowly reading these last 2 books because the 8th one is due to come out next year, and I don't want to have to be waiting a long time for it. So I am happy that I've been able to kind of spread these out so that I won't be done way before that 8th book is out. And then last but certainly not least, I am in the middle of reading my son's manuscript of his technically second novel that he's finished. This one is more of a fantasy, kind of an urban fantasy-ish, and it is called Divine Intervention, and I am really enjoying that too. But I'm a beta reader, so I'm reading it with more of a critical eye and with the intention to go back and kind of notate all the things that maybe I would recommend he change or that don't necessarily make sense to me and things like that. So it takes a little bit more brain power, and I want to make sure I am fully invested in giving that feedback when I'm reading it. So it's taking me a while to get through it, but I am thoroughly enjoying the characters and the plot. Yeah, I'm loving it. So that is Divine Intervention, and that is all of the books that I read in November and am currently reading. I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. I am looking forward to catching up with you and seeing what you guys got done in November. I hope you had a great month working on your projects. Let me know down below if you finished any diamond paintings in November or any good books, and I will DAC you in my next video. Bye everybody.